Heard time and time again that you need to open a high yield savings account, but you don't know which bank to go with. In today's video, I wanted to take you through my two online bank accounts, Ally and SoFi. We'll compare common features, I'll share some of my personal opinions, things I wish I knew before opening these accounts, and recommendations. But before we get started, it would be irresponsible for me not to mention and remind you guys that I am not a financial advisor. So I would highly encourage that you guys continue to do more research. I'll also link other helpful videos and sites that you can reference in the description below. So be sure to check that out after you watch this. Now let's get back to it. Let's start with the basics before we dive into the details and make sure we're on the same page. So what even is an HYSA or a high yield savings account, and what are the benefits? Simply put, a high yield savings account is an account where you can save money to make more money without having to invest in the stock market. In these accounts, your money is liquid, meaning that you can withdraw funds whenever you like. It's low risk, so you can't really lose money from keeping your money in these accounts. And usually there are few to no fees. High yield savings accounts are often online banks, which don't have the overhead costs like brick and mortar institutions such as Citibank, Chase, Bank of America, etc. With that covered, let's dive into some common key features that you should consider before opening up a high yield savings account. We'll compare SoFi and Ally and see how they stack up against each other. Quick story time. When I first told my dad I was going to be leaving our Wells Fargo account to open an Ally account, he asked me if the bank was FDIC insured, and I said, huh? And I had to do some research, and I found out that FDIC insurance guarantees that your money is protected in the event of any bank failure. The good thing is that both of these banks are FDIC insured up to $250,000, which is amazing and also dad approved. Next, let's talk about fees, which can be a huge pain. As I mentioned earlier, one of the benefits to a high yield savings account is that there are few to no fees. Luckily for us, both Ally and SoFi offer no maintenance fees, or do they even require an initial deposit when you open an account? So what does that mean? This means you can easily set up an account without stressing about an initial deposit. But if you're planning to do a direct deposit anyways, SoFi does sweeten the deal because they do offer a sign-up bonus for up to $300 when you set up a direct deposit. It can even be $325 if you use the link in my description below. Now, another great benefit to both of these accounts is that they do not charge an overdraft fee. And girl, trust me, we have all been there where we thought we had more money in our accounts than we actually did. So SoFi offers up to $50 to cover, and then Ally offers up to $250 depending on your standing with the bank. The next key feature, which is arguably the most important or the one that most people care about, is the annual percentage yield, or the APY. This represents the interest you can earn by depositing money into the account. APYs do fluctuate, so I would highly recommend just double checking the rates at the time you're watching this video. As of today, July 25th, SoFi offers an APY of 4.6%, while Ally offers a 4.2% APY on their high yield savings account. Just wanted to put together this graph to kind of show you what this would look like over a 5-year period, assuming that the APY remains consistent. If you were to deposit $1,000 into both of these accounts, that 0.2% difference will show a noticeable, though not dramatic, impact. I will say, despite Ally having a lower APY, it does offer other features that SoFi doesn't, like CDs, which can be important to some people depending on your banking needs. One notable advantage that I did want to mention about these online banking accounts as well is that they do offer an APY on their checkings accounts, which they're very small, but I do believe that something is better than nothing. SoFi is currently at a 0.5%, and then Ally is at 0.25% APY for their checkings account. The last thing I wanted to compare is the online and mobile banking experience. Both banks have top-notch mobile apps that make everything so easy to do, from checking your balances, transferring money, auto-saving, and even depositing checks, all within an app. And as someone who appreciates really good design, I feel like both Ally and SoFi's apps have amazing user interfaces that are friendly and intuitive. Now, one feature that I did want to call out that are within these apps, and whoever thought of the saving feature, I personally need to give you a hug because they have changed the game on how I manage my money financially, are these buckets or vaults. And essentially you can create these like digital envelopes that allow you to split out your money and kind of like organize it all within one account. But the real power of these vaults is that it allows you to visualize where your money is going. Emergency saving fund, I have a Christmas fund, I have a car fund, I have a home fund, and every time I save into my savings accounts, I know how much money I'm putting into each bucket without having to track it manually. And I think that is just so genius. I love it so much, and I couldn't go this entire video without talking about it. With Ally, I believe you can create up to 30 savings buckets, and then with SoFi, it's up to 20 savings vaults. What's particularly cool about Ally though that I do want to mention is that they also offer this feature in your checkings accounts, but instead of savings buckets, they call it your spending bucket. So for example, you don't really save for rent. It's something you pay for every month, but you do want to save a portion of your paycheck to make sure that that's going to rent specifically. You can create a bucket for that and put it into that bucket so you know that that money is specifically for your rent. With all the key features covered, I do quickly want to mention 3 things I wish I knew before opening an online banking account that I feel like some people should consider depending on your circumstances. The first one is that there is no branch access. SoFi and Ally are both online banks. They do not have a physical location, so it may be difficult to handle transactions that require an in-person assistance, such as cash deposits, notarizing documents, or consulting with a banker face-to-face. Another thing is that there can be cash deposit challenges. SoFi and Ally currently do not accept cash deposits directly. Customers typically have to find workarounds, such as depositing cash into a traditional bank and then electronically transferring that over, or they use networks like Green Dot. And the last thing is ATM access and fees. This one isn't really an issue because both SoFi and Ally have a large network of ATMs that you can use for free, but that's just something I wanted to bring up in case that is an issue. So some things to consider. For me personally, they were not big deals, but I think maybe important for certain people to know. Now that you know all of this, you can see why SoFi and Ally go head to head for opening up a high yield savings account. I personally have been using both of these accounts for the past 3 years, and I just want to share my own pros and cons for each. Please note that these are just based off of my current banking needs, which is just a day-to-day bank. I do not invest through any of these accounts, though I do know that is an option and something someone might want to consider. So starting with SoFi, my first pro is that they do offer that $300 sign-up bonus, and they also have a referral program, so you can always share your link with your friends and family and you'll get a bonus every time a family or friend signs up, which is something that Ally doesn't offer. Another pro is that I like that you can connect all of your accounts, your credit card accounts, your investment accounts, other banking accounts to your SoFi app, which will track your monthly spending and your net worth. This feature, I think, gives you just a comprehensive view of how you're doing financially. And because of this functionality, for me personally, I feel like it enhances the user experience, making SoFi's app stand out a little bit more than Ally's. When I open up my SoFi app, I can see my monthly spending, I can see my net worth, I can see my credit score, and it just gives me a clear picture of my financial health and just helps me become more effective in my own financial management. The cons of SoFi is that you can only have one checking account. Personally, I like setting aside money out of my paycheck for rent every single month. So this is why I've decided to still keep Ally, because I'll just transfer that portion to my Ally checking account. The other con that I have with SoFi that is so small but bothers me a lot is the frequency in which you can set up your autopilot functionality into your savings. I think Ally's is way better because you can choose from like bi-weekly, monthly, weekly, and SoFi's for some reason looks like this, where you can do it only one time a month or monthly on a certain day. So for me, it just makes it a little bit harder to set up those auto transfers on a bi-weekly basis. SoFi, if you're watching this, please fix that. For Ally, I think the pros of Ally that are worth re-mentioning: their auto save functionality that gives you more options for the frequency. The next one is the buckets in your checking account. So this would eliminate my issue of having multiple checkings accounts open. And then although I said I do like SoFi's user experience better, I think Ally's user interface is just straightforward, and I can see how SoFi's UI might be busy for some people. The list of cons compared to SoFi, I really think that the overall functionality of Ally is solid, and the only drawback is that it has a lower APY. Overall, both of these banks are And I honestly think you can't go wrong with picking one or the other. See, what I recommend doing is trying out SoFi for 6 months and then switching over to Ally for another 6 months or however long that you want to, and then seeing which one better suits you. Like I mentioned, they're free to open. They don't cost anything to close them out. So really you're not losing any money by having these accounts open. And I'll leave a link to the description below to make it easier to sign up. But again, also do your research if you're looking for more specific things in a banking account or a high yield savings account. My main piece of advice though, whether you pick SoFi, Ally, or another bank, is do not wait too long to open a high yield savings account. The longer you wait, the more potential earnings you might be missing out on. Do not work for your money. Let your money work for you. With that, I hope this video was helpful. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know which bank you choose below, or if you have these banks, what are your own personal pros and cons so we can help out this community. Also, if you enjoyed this video or if you gained any insights, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out me and this channel. And I'll also be posting an updated payday routine video very soon. I'll see you guys in the next video. Love you so much.